Welcome back to On Air. Today, we continue our look at politics influence on direct selling as direct selling giant Melaleuca donates $1 million to the Romney campaign.
Frank Vandersloot owns Melaleuca. An outspoken conservative and devout Mormon, Vandersloot's Idaho company pumped $1 million into a super PAC backing Mitt Romney, helping to pay for a barrage of attack ads in the Florida primary. A report filed with the Federal Election Commission late Tuesday shows that million-dollar donors like Vandersloot are pouring money into the Romney Super PAC, Restore Our Future, taking advantage of new rules allowing unlimited donations to such groups. Restore Our Future raised $30 million last year. The unaffiliated Republican Super PAC, American Crossroads, run by Karl Rove, reported raising $51 million.
These numbers are staggering. What it shows us is that a very small number of select donors can have a big impact on the election and wield incredible clout in Washington.
That's the setup. Let's get to it. Hi, this is Keeper. I'm so glad you could join me. For years, I've been talking about politics influence on direct selling, that it's vast, that it goes on forever. Certainly back in 2008, when we had such a historic election, it was a big deal to talk about. Even then, I was told there's not much impact, there's not a discussion to be had here. Distributors really don't want to know what's involved. This was certainly some of the media in direct selling. And now in 2012, with this presidential election, of course, it's a big topic, and Direct Selling Live launched its political bloggers in December. You should follow them. Libertarian, Tea Party, Democrat, Liberal Progressive, they're all there talking about politics and its impact on direct selling and you as a distributor. However, as I continue to look at politics and its impact in direct selling, I, for one, realize that what's going on, not just here in direct selling, but here in the United States, that there is a silencing of the voices of the average person here in the United States. Whether you're a distributor or a customer or a prospect, it's all the same thing. In January of 2010, the Supreme Court passed a decision down for Citizens United that allowed corporations to, in effect, have the same power, have the same voices, and in most cases, even greater power and influence on politics, as it allows corporations to be able to make mega donations, which ends up being buying elections, certainly leaving out and crushing the voices of the average American here in the United States. As I continue to report on this story, there continued to be a good amount of blowback my way, saying, Keeper, why are you talking about this? We should not be having a political conversation in direct selling. It doesn't involve us. It's not something we need to know about. And I said, it is absolutely something we need to know about. So late last year, Direct Selling Live found out that the Direct Selling Association, DSA, had a political action committee. No one knew about it if you were a distributor, but if you were a company owner, you knew all about it. As this political action committee, it's not a huge political action committee, but nonetheless, it is a DSA political action committee. You found out that there was some power and influence being exercised by the DSA in an attempt to get into the public policy debate for direct sellers. That's really what it's all about. They're trying to get a foothold into the public policy debate. As we continue to do our investigation, we found out that Amway is one of the largest soft money donors to the Republican Party and has been for years. When you say soft money, you're meaning secret money. You're meaning money that is not transparent. Betsy DeVos, the wife of Dick DeVos over at Amway, one of the heirs of the Amway fortune, finally came out last year and said, yes, I admit it. We are the largest soft money donor to the Republican Party because we want our values to be the values of the United States. Whether you agree with that or not, the fact of the matter is it's direct selling having an impact on politics and who sits in the White House and governors' mansions and things like this. When that happens, it impacts us. So it is a conversation we need to have. We continue to talk about it because it is important, certainly in light of this 2012 presidential election. Now, the breaking news that Melaleuca owner Frank Vandersloot has donated $1 million to the Romney Super PAC, Restore Our Future. This is huge news. It is mega news because what it says is that Frank Vandersloot, and I will read what he had to say about it. In USA Today online on February 2nd, 2012, he says, "We, as a company, would like to see Mitt Romney as President of the United States. Keep in mind, an individual donor can donate $2,500 to a politician or a political party. You could donate up to $2,500, $2,500. But as a corporation, sky's the limit." And when Frank Vandersloot, the owner of Melaleuca, says, "We as a company would like to see Mitt Romney as president," he is saying that the entire company, including its distributors, its employees, and everyone associated with them, wants Mitt Romney as president. Now, I doubt that that's true, but that is what he is quoted as saying in the USA Today online. It's amazing because when you step back and you look at the actual $1 million donation by Melaleuca, it comes from 4 different divisions of Melaleuca. It's Melaleuca Inc., $250,000. And here's where it starts to get interesting. The next 3 divisions. Melaleuca Asia, $250,000. Melaleuca Japan, $250,000. Melaleuca Southeast Asia, $250,000. So you've got Melaleuca from outside of the United States pouring in $750,000 into the Romney Super PAC, Restore Our Future, in hopes of getting Romney into the White House. This is not just Melaleuca here in the United States. This is Melaleuca from outside influencing U.S. politics, public policy, and engaging in the public policy debate. It is astounding. He's a very proud man, and he should be. He's done absolutely fantastic. He's done extremely well. Whether or not you agree with politics and his views is one thing. That's neither here nor there for me. What has always been the issue for me is we as average people, our voices are being lost in this war, if you will, about the average Americans versus the super rich. What you've got is Frank Vandersloot. He's known as a super donor. Restore Our Future raised $30 million to pour into the Romney Super PAC. Step back for a minute and imagine, can you put $30 million towards any political candidate? Can you put $10 million? Can you put $1 million? Can you put $500,000? If you can, you're known as a super donor. You have all kinds of favors coming your way. When we come back, we're going to investigate more of the Melaleuca $1 million donation to the Romney Super PAC, Restore Our Future, and what that means to you as a distributor and the average American. I'll be right back.
When my mother used to sell Princess House.
Joined them way that night.
Norma siempre vendía cosas de Avon.
Oh, it must have been around 1935.
But those knives were amazing.
The one lady's name was Mary Kay, and I said, oh, cosmetics will never sell on Party Plan.
Was a single mom and created these hair care products for black women and became the first self-made millionaire in the United States. I just think that's extraordinary.
Well, the results from the primary were coming in, by the way. We're finally able to get a look at who some of the biggest money people are behind these super PACs we've been talking about, especially those financing all these negative ads we're getting out of Romney, especially. Michael Isikoff's an expert. He's our national investigative reporter for NBC News. Let me ask you this tonight, Michael. All this negative advertising, something like 92% of which is negative down here, $24 million spent down here in the last few days. Who's paying for the Romney piece of this? What kind of people?
Well, actually, funny you should ask, Chris, because we've just learned in the last couple of hours, in fact, Restore Our Future, which is the Romney Super PAC, held back its filing with the FEC, which was required by midnight tonight, until after Romney had given his victory speech. They clearly didn't want to step on it. They didn't want attention, and it's easy to see why. You look at it, they reported $7.9 million raised during the last 6 months of the year. That makes them by far the biggest presidential super PAC that we know about. Newt Gingrich has only raised 2.1 before they got that Adelson money in January, and the Obama super PAC, Priorities USA, only $4.4 million, far below the ambitious goals they had set. Then you look at the list and you really see how with these super PACs we get these billionaire donors who can pump enormous amounts of money. 7 separate $1 million checks came in from to that Romney Super PAC. A lot of Wall Street hedge fund guys, Paul Singer of Elliott Management, a lot of energy guys, Bill Koch of the Koch brothers fame kicked in $1 million. And then there's a very strange one from Idaho, a devout Mormon named Frank Vandersloot, who runs a wellness company under the name of Melaleuca that contributed $1 million.
Welcome back to On Air. We, as a company, Melaleuca, would like to see Mitt Romney as President of the United States. That's some very powerful words from a very powerful man. One of the richest men in Idaho. Has vast business interests. They reach forever. He's extremely powerful. And has also done a lot of good work. Let's be clear about this. He's done a lot of good things. There's no doubt about it. He's helped a lot of people. However, when it comes to politics and people being able to buy our politicians, being able to buy the White House, I think all good things stop right there. It is important that the average American, the average distributor be able to have an impact on who makes it to the White House, who becomes a governor, who becomes a congressman, who becomes a senator, who becomes a city councilman. It's incredibly important that we be able to dictate who goes there based on our votes. The person with the most votes is supposed to win. Well, our history has shown that that's not always the case in the United States. But that's supposed to be what it is. It's not supposed to be about who has the most money, can buy the most power and influence, can buy the most commercials. Now, what's interesting about Restore Our Future and Mr. Vandersloot, Restore Our Future had some of the most negative campaigns, ads going out against Newt Gingrich. What I find interesting about it is if you stop for a minute and you look at direct selling from the standpoint that we are a industry that's about being positive, that's being about helping people, I find it that there's an issue when you are supporting something that's coming out with some of the most negative and having so much vitriol in your advertisement and you're associated with that. You cannot remove yourself surely by saying, well, I'm not behind the ads. I don't know who's putting them together. That's beside the point. You are part of the process. You are part of the machine that's creating them. From a direct selling standpoint, who are we and what are we all about? I think we have a lot of great power here. Our power reaches well beyond just helping one or two people make an extra $300 to $400 a month. I think our power lies in the future in having a political voice. I think it's imperative that we realize we can do this because we're going to have these special people with millions and billions of dollars now buy our politicians in a more transparent way, and there's absolutely nothing we're going to be able to do about it. Direct sellers have always been a very interesting mix. We have any and everything under the sun when it comes to civil issues, when it comes to religious issues and views, when it comes to political views, racial views. That's what makes us so great. We're just a microcosm of the United States and the world, and that's really a great thing. But I got to tell you, I don't care who it is. If it's Amway and the DeVos family, who actually made the Power 50 this year as the #1 on the Power 50 list because of their political power and influence. But when our owners of our companies, be it the DeVos family or the Vandersloots, begin to impact our political future, I have a problem with that. And I think all of you do too. I think we need to be very, very clear. I'm really not all that interested in who they're voting for. I'm interested in one thing and one thing only, that I have a voice, that I have a say in what's going on. I think you feel the same way. It has been said here by Mr. Vandersloot, we'll give everything we can afford to give to aid the Pro-Romney PAC. I can't give everything that I can. I doubt that many of you can. But when a mega billionaire says he can, that's a lot of power and influence, and it's actually quite scary. Mr. Vandersloot went on to say he insists his company's contributions don't give him a bigger voice in politics. You have got to be kidding me. I'm not that stupid, and I don't think you're that stupid either. For us to believe that his $1 million donation from $250,000 in Melaleuca here in the U.S. and another $750,000, $250,000 from Melaleuca Asia is not going to buy him some favors. Now, these favors might very well come back to help direct selling, might come back to help direct selling distributors over at Melaleuca for being pro-business. However, that is not the issue. One voice, one person. It's that simple. That's what we're all about. One comment that I saw on a conservative blog went on to say this, and I thought it was very, very good. I don't know who the person is who wrote it, but I'm just going to read it because they made a comment down in the blog section. I literally can't wait for the rioting over super PACs as people wake up to realize how much their personal voice in politics has been crushed. Liberal or conservative, if you aren't outraged over super PACs, you are asleep. I don't care who the person is. Obviously, that's true because I'm talking about owners in direct selling, the industry I absolutely love. I absolutely love direct selling. But I don't love it when someone tries to take my voice away from me. There's just no way I'm down with that at all, and I think you are the same way. What do? We make our politicians know that we don't like the Citizens United ruling. One voice, one person. Corporations are not people. People are people. When I come back, a little quick comment on the 2012 Power 50, Power 54. I'll be right back.
When my mother used to sell Princess House.
Joined Amway that night.
Norma siempre vendía cosas de Avon.
Oh, it must have been around 1935.
But those knives were amazing.
The one lady's name was Mary Kay, and I said, oh, cosmetics will never sell on party plan.
Was a single mom and created these hair care products for black women and became the first self-made millionaire in the United States. I just think that's extraordinary.
Last week, Direct Selling Live announced its annual Power 50, the list of the 50 most powerful, most influential people in all of direct selling. It was a very, very interesting list to put together, to be sure. A lot happened in 2011. Certainly a lot of things happened that impacted direct selling or caused change in direct selling that a number of you might not even have been aware of because the impact may have been off your radar, something you weren't looking for. So in this Power 50, Power 54, we had what we call 7 game changers. People or companies or products or something that literally changed the game in direct selling in such a way that its impact, we predict, is going to be very, very big going forward. For the Power 50, the criteria is, there are 2 main criteria. You have to have some power and influence in direct selling, and your power and influence needs to be able to transcend the industry, meaning that it needs to have some sort of influence outside of direct selling, be it socially, politically, religiously, environmentally, education, economics, something. So these game changers really did cover the entire gamut, or a lot of it, of what game changers is really all about. For instance, Power 50 number 50, Torrin Seabrooks, who's the star of Direct Selling Live's reality show, The Recruit, is a game changer because direct selling has never had a reality show. It's a really good look at what happens to a new recruit as they start their business. It's groundbreaking stuff, and it transcends direct selling from a cultural standpoint. Direct selling lies political bloggers. We've never had a real conversation in direct selling, and we've got some of the best bloggers in all of direct selling who are taking on the task of keeping you informed on what's happening politically and how it impacts direct selling. Lisa Wilbur, Avon, one of Avon's top distributors, Gene Bronstein, Kelly Foote, and Soul Purpose Lifestyle Company's Ruth Webster. Game-changing stuff. It begins to elevate our conversation. And as DSA President Joe Mariano, another game changer, says, it's a great way to get the conversation going. It can really help with the public policy debate here in direct selling. We had Donald Trump. Granted, he's not really big in direct selling. He does own Trump Network. However, Donald Trump is all over the news. And when Donald Trump is all over the news, it impacts every business that he touches. So he's a game changer. Who knows what he will do and how it impacts direct selling. Zango's founders made the game changer list because of some technology they introduced in terms of communications for on-demand viewing. It was a beautiful piece of work, and it was so impactful that a number of companies logged on to watch them present Zango's Go Conference 2011. That's how big it was. The DeVos family came in at number one. Not the DeVos family are, over at Amway, but their political power really began to shine last year. We really began to understand what they're really all about and where they're really probably hoping to go. One of the other game changers would be Joe Mariano over at the DSA. He steps in after 40 years of the DSA being at the helm, run by Neil Offen. So it's a game-changing situation because he's new to the mix. You just don't know what he's all about. But I can tell you this, he seems to be more engaged and more willing to do outreach than his predecessor, which is a good thing. But the greatest game changer of all, Avon, a company that had so much turmoil last year with the international bribery scandal, the stock dropping 45% over the course of the year, CEO and Chairman Andrea Jung and reigning Power 50 #1, losing her CEO position. She's been now just pushed over to just be chairman. It was a big deal. But one of the great things about Avon last year was towards the end of the year. Avon was named by the Human Rights Foundation as one of the best places to work for lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders. This is a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. Because for years, direct selling has never, we're just been on the periphery of being able to extend an arm or extend a hand out to the lesbian, gays, and bisexuals community. There are some companies that do it, but when they do, not much is made of it. In 2010, Direct Selling Live spoke to Kara Kowalski, a then prepaid legal distributor, who came out during this interview as a lesbian. And prepaid legal, they did absolutely nothing with it. Nothing. They made no recognition. She made the Power 50 and the Women of Power because they didn't want to be involved in that conversation. We are extremely proud of Avon. You have no idea. I, for one, believe that direct selling is for everyone, and it's another conversation we should be having. What is it about sometimes race, religion, political views that causes so much strife for those of us here in direct selling when we're supposed to be an industry for any and everyone as long as you're 18 years of age and you're willing to get to work? That's all that matters. Lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders should not only be more involved, they should be openly accepted in direct selling. After all, statistically speaking, they're on the upper crust of those who make money, education, what they do for their communities. They should be more involved. My best cousin is a lesbian. I absolutely love her to death. She is absolutely outstanding in business. She's outstanding in her community, and she's an outstanding parent as well. For Avon to get this award by the Human Rights Foundation, to my knowledge, no direct selling company has gotten it before. Hopefully, this opens the door for other companies to extend an arm, to extend a hand, to be openly willing to embrace and have inclusion of the lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders who are interested in becoming distributors, and for those that are already in, not be ostracized, not be treated differently. For those that are in as well, we also are hoping that more materials start to reflect their involvement, start to reflect who they are, because it really shows that we are really an industry for everyone. Have a great day. We'll see where politics takes us next week. It's going to be exciting for 2012. If you've got a comment, please let us know at OnAIR at Direct Selling Live. We'd love to hear from you about anything that we talk about. Have a great day.